honestly. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Freedom Uncensored. Oh, there we go. You can hear me. Awesome. I'm still working on it. I hate the little green lines around me and everything. It's super weird. Um, I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's the lighting setup, probably. My hair is like off putting. Anyways, welcome back to Freedom Uncensored. Um, Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to post Thanksgiving. Welcome to Black Friday, the day that everything should be 50% off, but the lowest they'll go is 33% off, which is annoying. It's not the Black Friday that I remember growing up with. And today we're going to have, I guess, four topics we have to discuss. A so called peace plan between Ukraine and Russia was actually on the table, so that's amazing. Texas and Governor Abbott going to war with CARE, a major Islamic civil rights group, over terrorism designations. So that one was controversial between what CARE is doing with Islam and Hamas to say that CARE is not a terrorist group, but Texas governor believes that they are because some financial dealings that they're having over there with Hamas in the east border. And then the tragic killing of a National Guard soldier in Washington, D.C., in what officials are calling a targeted ambush. So, this was another thing under the Biden administration. Allies welcome were people from the Middle East who helped out with the CIA or certain terrorist group removal over there were accepted into America and were, what is it called? They they let them set free. They let them be free people, I guess. And then Donald Trump's new bombshell promise to permanently pause migration from all third world countries. So this was last night. Donald Trump said last night in a tweet, "Happy Thanksgiving." It was a long tweet. Of course, he had to bring in Sleepy Joe with his auto pen, but he also talked about Tim Walz being a terrible governor and allowing so many. I think it was Somalian people into Minnesota. It was terrible. He called him Dum Dum. So yeah, segment number one, the peace plan. It's been in talks. I mean, Russia and Ukraine, of course, Zelensky and Putin haven't really talked face to face. We have seen them multiple times already at the White House, but we haven't seen them discuss with one another because it would be a dogfight. A lot of headlines say peace deal, but here's what actually happening. According to CBS News, Ukraine defense minister says that they've agreed to the core terms of a US-backed peace proposal. So of course this was something that the US had to do, with only minor details left. These talks are happening in Abu Dhabi with US, Ukrainian, and Russian officials shuffling in and out of the room. Reports from outlets like Al Jazeera and CSIS say that the draft plan calls for an imminent ceasefire, some kind of withdrawal or freezing of Russian forces, security guarantees for Ukraine, and limits on future Western troop deployments. But here's the catch: Vladimir Putin is telling the world that this US Ukraine text could be a basis for peace only if Ukraine surrenders territory Russia is currently occupying and accepts restrictions on Western support. He's also still calling Ukraine leadership illegitimate, which makes any real agreement basically impossible. And so, is there a peace deal? Not yet. What we actually have is a draft that could freeze the war and a Russian leader demanding land and leverage in return. The question we need to ask as America is, are we pressuring Ukraine into giving up territory just so that the White House can claim a peace deal? And what message does this send to every other country watching Russia invade its neighboring neighbors and get rewarded um, with land? So, of course, we saw this long, long ago where Russia was saying if Ukraine ceases fire, then we'll have to obtain whatever territory they're occupying from Russia right now. And of course, from the start of the war, Russia said that Ukraine was Russian territory. So Ukrainians don't want to let that go. Russia doesn't want to stop the war if they don't obtain certain areas of Ukraine. Of course, if we see the sectors that they want from Ukraine, they are power plants, they are um, industrial plants. They want factories, they want machineries, they want manufacturing centers. Um, I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially because those sectors also have so much high quantities of oil and oh my gosh, I feel like I'm dying here. Um, but yeah, those are high quantities of oil. We know that for Ukraine, that's where most of the oil from, I think it's Quebec, passes through to go into the Middle Eastern areas where they have their largest amount of sales. Um, Moving on to segment number two, Islam, CARE, and Texas terror designations. Governor Greg Abbott just did something that's exploding across the legal and political world. On November 18th, he signed a proclamation designating the Muslim Brotherhood and the group CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, as foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations. So we've seen this before, of course, with CARE and other organizations. Um, and even moved to block them from buying land in Texas. This is from Abbott's official press release and proclamation. CARE is one of the biggest Muslim civil rights organizations in America. They say they have no ties to terrorism and that this is pure defamation and anti Muslim targeting. Outlets like Axios report that CARE completely rejects Abbott's claims. I don't know about that yet. I've worked with CARE in the past. They seem like decent people, but um I don't know. I've worked with CARE in the past and they seem like decent people. Yes, some of the stuff seems wrong, like supporting I don't support the whole Free Palestine movement the way that it was executed, okay? I believe that sure, um people who are from certain land, like let's say Palestine, should have the liberty and freedom to say, I'm from Palestine and I grew up there and that's my territory and that's my land. But the way they brought Free Palestine into a movement into America just was wrong. I don't see what's so courageous, what's so smart about doing Free Palestine protests and movements and organizations in America and then terrorizing Jewish groups and then terrorizing college students and then terrorizing community neighborhood councils. Like, okay, you want Palestine to be free, but what are you gaining about shouting, stop the bombs, free Palestine, um, get the head of Netanyahu? What do you gain shouting that at a neighborhood council who is only 5 members and 3 neighborhood personnels? You don't gain anything from shouting stop the bombs at USC and it's a mechanical engineering class. Those kids don't care about the bombs. They're there to get a master's degree or a doctorate or go work for NASA. They don't care about your bombs and politics and Middle Eastern legislator. They're not there for that. So when Kerry decided to go and do a Palestinian uh, movement at USC, I thought that was terrible. They took over a classroom, they took over a building, they took over a library. They put tents and camps all across the campus. They terrorized and they bothered an institution set for education, not an institution set for debating, for um, protesting. If you want to protest, go outside of those campuses. Go onto the street. Go on to, I don't know, Figueroa Street. Go protest with a prostitute. But stop bothering students' time and students' education at institutions made for learning. By doing this, they're also taking advantage of the media. They're forcing younger generations and Gen Z to say, wow, if they're protesting at universities, they must be right. They might be the ones who are right, and Israel is fully wrong. Let's not forget October 7th, okay? And then at the same time in Washington, there's a bill in Congress, H.R. 097 literally called the designated CARE as a terrorist organization act that would force the Secretary of State to review whether CARE should be an official foreign terrorist list. So, we've seen this before. It's still in Congress, it's still in the White House. CARE is under investigation. We've seen receipts in the past where CARE has admitted to saying we have funded certain things of Hamas. They haven't said it publicly, but they have said it in their own meetings, and they have said it individually as supporters of the Middle East. And then the tension in Texas leading to the way national security or is the state government crossing the line into targeting a religious civil rights group with due process. So Islam, it is a religion. In the United States, under our Constitution, we do have freedom of speech, freedom of religion. But why would I want Al Qaeda spreading his religion across America and taking advantage of one of our amendments? Why would I want a Satanist group? Why would I want MS-13 spreading their hate, spreading their ideologies into middle schools, elementary schools, high schools, college campuses, into public areas, into working areas, into the financial districts? Why would I want that? So, I don't know. I don't have enough information to say if CARE is or is not a terrorist group. From what I have seen firsthand, they seem like a strong, united, Islamic based organization. Um, they seem like people who just want to be respected for their civil rights, people who want their freedom in a country they migrated to. I'm not saying all of them are illegal because most of them do have their green card, they're citizens, they have their law firms, they have, all these small businesses. Um, but is there something deeper going on? Possibly. Do I think they're an Islamic terrorist group? I can't say yet. Do I think Islam doesn't have a place in America? No, because our First Amendment does allow freedom of religion. Do I think Islam is the right religion? I do not. I, as a Christian man, will always defend and say that Christianity is the way. I will not defend a certain branch of Christianity because we do have so many different denominations, but Christianity is the truth. Islam is just like anything else that has to do with Confucianism, that has to do with Buddhist, that has to do with the Jews' mentality of not believing Jesus Christ came and died for our sins. So I can't say and I can't confirm that CARE is a terrorist organization, but if they are, sign the bill, get them out, and say that we don't want to do business with you anymore. If they are, and you don't want to kick them out, let them reform, let them work with the government, be a government affiliated partner, and then they can work with civil rights and then organize and then protect Islamic or Muslim brothers and then work under the government so they have supervision under the government. Do something where you clash. But I guess what I'm leading to now is the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE is about our fallen National Guard in DC. Um, This happened hours ago yesterday. Two members of the West Virginia National Guard were shot in what officials describe as a targeted attack near the White House. Reuters and other outlets say they were on duty as part of the Federal National Guard deployment that Trump ordered to DC earlier this year. The soldiers were 20-year-old SPC Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. I saw this all across the media. Okay, I saw everybody saying we will never forget Sarah. We will never forget Beckstrom. I don't want to get the name wrong. Um, and I don't know. It felt like the uprising of the white BLM. Of course, we did lose a fellow member of law enforcement, of the National Guard, of our military, but to a certain point, I don't agree with the whole let's never forget Sarah. It's the same thing that BLM is doing. Let's never forget, I don't know, what's their names? Let's never forget Shaq. Let's never forget Tyrone. Let's never forget Felicia or Sabrina or Stephanie. Like, the moment we start saying let's never forget certain people, it's like the next BLM for white people. Um, when people said let's never forget Charlie Kirk, I said, okay, let's carry his message, but saying let's never forget Charlie and he's still alive with us everywhere. Like, he's dead. Um, we can't bring people back who are dead. Of course, we can never forget them. Of course, we can honor what they did in their work by continuing it, by studying it. But by saying, oh, let's never forget they're still within us. No, like, I can't be the next Charlie Kirk. And that's for sure. That's guaranteed. There was only one Charlie Kirk. We can't say we are Charlie Kirk because the way I see it, I can never live up to. Charlie was one of the best men out there, and Charlie carried a message that I might even fear to submit to and say out there publicly and go out there to college campuses. I can't do what Charlie did. I don't even have as much knowledge or be what Charlie was. I can't do that. So I can't say we are Charlie because within me, I know I can't. I can't live up to that. So I know that. Um, the host of Freedom Uncensored, and I'm Jared Trinidad. I can't say I'm the next Charlie. I that doesn't sit right with me. So going back to Sarah Beckstrom, the suspect, according to DHS and multiple reports, is Rama. Okay, Ramanullah Lakanwal. So he's Middle Eastern, an Afghan national who came to the United States under the Biden administration, Operation Allies Welcome. And this isn't something, okay, when I read this and it said under the Biden administration, Operation Allies Welcome, this has been going on for years. It has been going on since Al Qaeda. It has been going on since 9/11. It has been going on since before that, back when we still had George Bush. That's when we had allies welcome because we were doing so many operations in the Middle East, and we said, hey, if you guys are a criminal there, or if you guys are somebody that's helping us in the Middle East, welcome to America. So it wasn't just under the Biden administration. Operation Allies Welcome has been something that has been going on forever. Um, and then he's facing serious charges, and the FBI is investigating this as a potential act of terrorism. So, of course, hopefully Kash Patel doesn't cover up for him because he's one of Kash Patel's people. President Trump has called this an act of terror, blamed Joe Biden's vetting of Afghan evacuees, and ordered more National Guard troops into DC while pushing for a review of Afghan refugee approvals. So, course, this is terrible. Sarah should have never died. A lot of people are saying if we would have never let so many illegals into America, we would still have so many Americans still alive. But how many Americans do we lose every single year to American abortions? Sure, we lose about, okay, 8,000 Americans to illegal murders, to immigrants who come here and kill American citizens, to immigrants who come here and cause American car crashes. We lose about 8,000 Americans a year to immigrant related death cases. But we lose about 80 million American born citizens to abortion every year. Instead of just stopping at calling this illegal immigrant, or now I guess citizen because he was under Allies Welcome, instead of calling this an act of terror and just stopping, and then he went on to stopping third world migrations into America. We have to stop. Of course, under Trump, he tried to ban abortions, but it's still allowed in other states. Operations are still going in the black market, into the sewer system of LA, into Chicago, in New York. We still have so many cities that allow abortion into the 24th, into the 32nd week. They numb you, they inject you, they put fentanyl into you. We have higher rates of abortion than immigrant related death cases per year. And the case saying, if we would have never let these immigrants come into America, we would have so many Americans alive. That's not true. Gen Z will go down in history as the smallest population ever because more than 1/3 of Gen Z has died already to abortion. And I'm not saying immigrants related murders aren't an issue. They are. They're a terrible issue. They're important. Any American's life is important. Everybody's life is important. That's where I also have my stance. I don't care if you're a part of the LGBTQ community. I don't care if you don't share the same religion as me. I don't care if you're a foreigner that came into America. If you're at harm and you're in America and something is happening to you and your life is at threat, your life is in danger. Electricity pole falls on you. You got hit by lightning. Something happens. Whatever it is, in that moment to me you're an American. In that moment to me you're a person. In that moment to me you're somebody in danger. When it comes to somebody's life in danger, that's when I care, because I don't want to see somebody suffer through all of that. And then that brings me to my last topic, Trump's viral Thanksgiving post about immigration. So we kind of talked about this. And then the quote directly was, I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the US system to fully recover. He also called for ending federal benefits and subsidies to non citizens, re examining green cards for countries of concern, denaturalization or denaturalizing migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and what he calls reverse migration. So sending people back, so deportation. Um, and then he continues to say only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. So I guess he's spitting bars now. Happy Thanksgiving to all except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. He won't be here for long. So that's how it went off to say everything that he had to with migration was what he calls reverse migration, which is just a longer version of saying deportations. Um, we kind of went off topic. We kind of said a bunch of different little things off the top of my head, I guess. This week I had a call with We Are Charlie. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we do a partnership. I'm really looking forward to the idea of doing a US tour at high schools. Of course, we have Club America and we have Turning Point, but Turning Point focus has always been to stay at college campuses. Even younger conservative public speakers now, who are between 13, 14, and 15, are starting to do tabling events at universities. Personally, I don't think that's right. If I'm a college student at a college campus, I wouldn't see a 13-year-old talking to me about politics. I just say, what do, what do you know about politics? And no offense, there's a lot of educated younger people out there like Charlie, but I think we have to hit that age gap. We have to hit that age range from 13, 15, and 16, and maybe 12 through 16, where a lot of kids in that age range start to get these ideas about transgenderism and LGBTQness and feminism and masculinity, and all of this happens at a younger age. All of this starts to be a question of ideas and everything. Um, and we have to hit that. We have to hit that age range. So if me and Charlie can collab and do this US high school conservative or Freedom Uncensored and Long Live Charlie collab US tour for high schools, it would be awesome. It would be amazing. Um, I'm also in the talks of setting 3 chapters, one in New York, Manhattan, down in the financial district, one in Washington, Vancouver, and another one in Oregon, Portland. So 3 chapters of Freedom Uncensored might be coming soon to a neighborhood near you. If you're interested in opening a chapter, please make sure to DM me, and I'd love working with you. What else is going on? We might do a merch launch next year starting in winter or spring. If you're interested in merch, make sure to DM. We also have some posts up there about some simple mock-ups for hat, sweatshirt, and shirt. Might do a beanie, might do some socks. I don't know yet. And we have a lot of different stuff. Make sure to come back Monday. We have LA Mondays, Hot Take Tuesdays, Faith and Freedom Wednesdays, Expos Thursday, Freedom Friday. Yesterday we had no live because of Thanksgiving. I hope every single one of you had the opportunity to spend it out with your families and enjoy it. Um, and yeah, we have a lot of amazing stuff coming up. We have a USC Turning Point event next, what is it, Wednesday? You can check it out at Turning Point USA and see if you want to book your ticket if you're part of the Turning Point family. Um, Last night, I forget what Nick Fuentes is always talking about. He goes off the grid. Honestly, I think Nick Fuentes and Dean are the far, far right and the far, far left. Um, and then who was it? I think it was RJR. What's his name? Robert F. Kennedy. He uploaded a picture between Robert F. Kennedy, um, Eric Trump, Donald Trump. It was, I think, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, and then JD Vance. And I was like, this picture looks like it's the Illuminati. It's the Illuminati in one picture. If we had to put the Illuminati in one picture, it's Donald Trump, Eric Trump, JD Vance, Robert F. Kennedy, Mike Johnson, and I think Elon Musk was in the picture. I have to pull it up. I'd probably take a screenshot. I didn't take a screenshot. But yeah, it was like I was like, what's going on here? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's not on his Instagram. But yeah, Elon Musk was in the picture with them too. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the Illuminati. We have the richest man in the world. We have the president in the picture. We have the speaker of the government here. We have 3 politicians in here. It was crazy. Um, but yeah, stuff is happening. Things are coming to Freedom Uncensored. Partnerships are going on. We'll see how far we can take it. Thank you so much for everybody who has been watching today. I know it was a short segment. It was like a 30-minute show, not that bad. We talked about a few stuff from Texas to Los Angeles to the Middle East. Make sure you follow, make sure you stay tuned on Freedom Uncensored on Rumble to watch live Monday through Friday. You can watch the edited after clips on YouTube just to save you a little bit of time during the commercials, during whatever nonsense happens. Make sure you follow for updates and clips, and post and notices on Instagram at Freedom Uncensored, Twitter Freedom U/online, and then Facebook Freedom Uncensored, and more. So thanks for watching, and I will make sure to see you next week. Monday. Yeah, see you Monday.